Welcome to Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. I'm astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, thanks so much for being a part of HighVibe.tv. If you're not, you should get on it. Go down to the links down below, HighVibe TV, go to our apps and all the app stores or on our website. You're missing out on everything. Also, you're missing out on my Pluto Masterclass, which has been going so deep. I don't see anybody else helping out everybody with Pluto about to come into Aquarius and understand Pluto in your own chart in all the deepest ways. 4-hour classes. I just finished the 5th one. Over 20 hours already in this school. We still got another 4 left. You can catch up. It's super awesome. It's only $125 too, the deal of a century, and you get it forever. It's at highvibetvschool.com. $125. You always have access in the library, and all of it's done through in High Vibe TV School, the live, everything. It's not a Zoom. It's not some Zoom link. It's super awesome. There is no other school like it. Check it out. My Pluto Masterclass is going deep. You want more info? It's all there. highvibetvschool.com. Plus, make sure you're on highvibe.tv. Well, we've got a lot. This is a full moon in Virgo. While Saturn, the second this full moon happens, it's the last literal hour of Saturn that's going to be in Aquarius, and then Saturn ingresses into Pisces. Now, it's been a long Saturn Aquarius. I'm just going to be real with you, especially for the fact that this has been a Saturn-Pluto cycle we have been in since 2020, and even prior. Saturn came in when it was in Sag, within 30 degrees of Pluto and Capricorn. So you have been going through since 2017 this horribly long process of Saturn to go to Pluto. Then, right at the beginning of 2020, on January 12th, Saturn-Pluto conjuncted, and now finally you're seeing Saturn and Pluto separate by 30 degrees, and now finally we're about to see Saturn leave its 2 home signs, Aquarius and Capricorn. Now, Pluto at the same time is at 29 degrees at the same time, remember, of Capricorn. So this is like a time you will never experience, and many people in the last millennium, or even in all the millenniums that we know of humanity, have ever experienced the height of this kind of extreme change, and more importantly, the evolution of wherever the hell this universe is going. And this is, I know everybody's looking at March 23rd, like, oh my God, Pluto, you're already in it. You're already in it. It's already changing. But with Saturn, that's moving into Pisces here, that has Neptune. I'm about to give you the horoscope that hopefully will help you understand what the fuck's been going on, because this is more than just this daily horoscope, more than just a typical full moon horoscope. This is the horoscope about how everything is happening and why it's happening. And are you sure you're prepared for this? It's not simple, to say the least. Even though that full moon in Virgo, oh boy, do we desire it to be simple. No, it won't be simple. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change myself. I just taught my school, sorry, so I was over on the other side. I'm moving myself to the right, to be on the right side of things. Oh, that's a good joke. And how did that pop up? All right, there we are. Tuesday at 4:40 a.m. Pacific, we are going to see this full moon apex in Virgo. Remember, Virgo, Mercury rules Virgo. So this is a Mercury-ruled energy. And this full moon is happening with Mercury in Pisces at its fall position. Now, it's quite interesting to me seeing that this is a full moon that's happening at the last seconds in geometry that we're seeing Saturn in its home sign. Plus, we are now finally seeing the breakaway and the separating aspect here of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happened in 2020. Saturn is finally 30 degrees and a couple minutes, about 20 minutes, finally breaking away from Pluto. This is huge in itself, but the fact that it's a full moon in Virgo, it's sloppy. Remember, we are entering into Saturn in Pisces with Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. This isn't like last year when we had Jupiter ingress into Pisces again, right? And it was like, woo, the rulers. No, this is Saturn coming into here, and we do have the sun here. We have Mercury at its fall position, and this full moon, it's It's ruled by Mercury in its fall position. Oh, gosh. -7. Yeah, it's not that happy. And you're not going to be able to answer anything right now from the mind. So this is going to be where we are tired. If you think about that Saturn, that has been all the way since it was in Sag, and then we saw it hit Saturn and Pluto, boom. It's been this 6+ years of us going through extreme conditions, and the center midpoint being 2020. A whole new chapter is being born. And in the middle of this, at the caboose, of course, is Pluto. That's going to begin its first ingress into Aquarius consciously. Let's not forget that 1930 Pluto was discovered. Let's not forget that 2018, the first picture of Pluto close up so we could even see what it really looked like, happened. And that was exactly where Pluto decided to go south, literally into the underworld from the ecliptic of the sun. And when we discovered Pluto, it was exactly when Pluto came from south to north in Cancer. Remember, the fastest that you can go from Pluto is from Pluto to Cancer to Capricorn. We are now about to enter into the slowest phase of Pluto of our lives. Life is going to be slow. Life is going to get sloppy. Structures will not be ever as strong as they ever were, ever again in your life. This is a story that is going to test your spiritual limits, to say the least. And I wouldn't be scared about this. But the stress and the anxiety that's happening with this full moon of trying to figure out all your problems and trying to, especially with Saturn, that's happening exactly at the last second, the last minute of being in Aquarius, will throw you for a fucking loop if you're freaking yourself out trying to understand all your problems and you've listed it out, and you're going to have to understand that this is a world that you don't know if all those problems and all those things will even be able to hold up the structures and even understand what is ahead, that your problems are even worrying about so much. This is about understanding how the reality works, not about you tripping on your reality so much. The reality is changing whether you like it or not. We're all here with a purpose. At least I hope and I believe that as an astrologer. But it gets tested to its limits when Pluto's at the last degree of Capricorn, Saturn's at the last degree of Aquarius on a full moon in Virgo. A reality check. Are you sure you're living to your fullest potential? And more importantly, are you acting like the rebel because you want to be the rebel? Because honestly, the only rebel energy of Aquarius is that it gets outcasted. It doesn't choose to be outcasted. Uranus doesn't choose to be outcasted. The control systems of Saturn decide, Capricorn, Kronos, decides to outcast his father. You know, there is no such thing as I'm going to be cool and hip and be rebellious, and I'm going to try and disconnect from things. The last thing that Saturn ever wanted in Aquarius, the old father of time, above Kronos, that's connected with divinity and the divine, was ever about disconnection. It's all about connection. Where are you creating your own rebellion that's going to leave you in the trenches of your hardest spiritual karma of your life? This is the full moon to get to the reality that you are not a victim, because you're choosing to create this crazy reality for yourself in crazy situations where you need to disconnect and you need to leave and you need to do this crazy shit because you can't face the fact that you don't know how to connect and reach for some sort of potential. Pluto is at the last degree of Capricorn. And we're going to see this Pluto ingress into Aquarius and come back. Remember, we're so used to quick ingresses with Pluto. If you're alive today, you saw the fastest ingress and then back into the other side and then back in when it went to in Libra, but mainly from Libra to Scorpio and Scorpio to Sag. Those were just 1, 2, 3, bam, out. 1, 2, 3, bam, out. This is multiple times. In, out, in, out, in, out. And this is also at the same time with Saturn that has not been in the same sign with Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, since 1523. This is 500 years exactly. Now, that was actually the conjunction, which kind of blows my mind because looking at everything, and actually that conjunction happened right there where Mercury's at. It also is really weird. This is a lot of Pisces that's coming in because right after this full moon, less than an hour after, at 5:34 a.m. Pacific, there's Saturn ingress into Pisces, and you have Saturn, Mercury, the Sun, and Neptune. The last time that we had this much Pisces and more was all the way back in 2013 on March 10th and 11th when it was a new moon in Pisces with Mars in Pisces. Chiron was there, and that's not even with counting Chiron. Mercury, Mars, Venus, they were all there. And ironically enough, there's a lot about Mercury here that's trying to help us understand what's to come. Mercury is the foreshadowing of events in Pisces. It is the writing on the wall, per se. So these are extreme moments about understanding that you're at a place in your life where there's a foreshadowing of events here that, do you want to go into the 12th house and end up in a prison, a jail, a mental hospital? Do you want to self-undo yourself because of how you're setting yourself up by how maybe you don't have integrity when it comes to understanding true connection, but you're just trying to find a way to disconnect, and you're always trying to find a way to, play victim. Remember, we saw this, I'm going to be honest, I've been sick of everybody's Jupiter-Venus pictures. I'm sick of it. It's been with Chiron. It's been in Aries with Venus at detriment. It is not the most beautiful transit, and Jupiter-Venus transits take a long time to figure out. Jupiter, any transit with Jupiter, you don't understand until you go through the whole thing. It's not an instant return. But this has happened on top of Chiron, which happens to exactly be in semi-square with Saturn. And everybody keeps forgetting that. Everybody keeps forgetting that this is not about your way, your ego's way, or even the fact that Mars, the ruler of Aries, is still in shadow. It's been in fucking Gemini since August. It is crazy and nutcased out. It is literally north in declination, out of bounds, not at full speed, crazy, leading everybody's ego pack into thinking, I figured it out. I know what's best. I know what to do. And I'm trying to find my independence. Well, it's about connection. It's about evolving your values and building and staying and understanding that Taurus is the only place in the zodiac where it's about holding together the physical aspects of things and continuing to see them grow. And that's actually what Saturn Aquarius wants too. It doesn't want to be outcasted. It doesn't choose to rebel, especially from divinity. My biggest question to every single person that will watch this video: have you sold your soul to your ego and left your destiny? Because your vision of what you think your life should look like is based off an illusion already. It's based off a matrix illusion. It's based off a programmed illusion. The number one things that you know you're in your destiny with is where you hold the line of integrity, you hold the line of full commitment, because this is such a deceptive Pisces transit. It's easy to be like, I'm pulling all this stuff out of my life that feels like it's bad, when it's really a really easy way of just being like, no, I just don't really want responsibility. I don't really want to stay committed. I don't really want to do that. I just want to be free, and I want it my own vision way. We're living in a world where the structures that your program vision of how you think life is going to work will not be there. They will not be there. So if you sold your fucking destiny to your ego because your ego thinks it has found the route, when right now Saturn dropping into Ingress into Pisces with Mercury at its fall position and with Neptune there, which we have not seen since 1523. And in 1523, the Pope thought it was smart to convince Holland to make it to where everybody needed to follow Catholicism. And what happened? That year, the Pope then died at the end of the year. And the Reformations started to begin. Of course, you know, this is a time where it's like, are you being a tyrant to your own vision and belief and you think that it has to be this way? Religion's going out crazy. Everybody thinks it's the end of the world. Everybody thinks it's Revelation. Everybody's saying they know who the Antichrist is. Everybody's saying that they know what this is, and you need to reverse that into how are you doing that in your life? That's the Antichrist. This is the end of times in my life here. That you are in paranoia or craziness and not seeing the deeper part of this. Where are you not in true aspect where you have created this false identity, especially with Chiron there, in semi-square to Saturn, at the 29th degree during this full moon? This is a reality check. It's a reality check on where you're living your subconscious illusions and where you're not even aware of it, probably repression, where you're projecting this reality that you're going to be great. Go look at the economy. Go look at all the aspects of what's been happening and ask yourself if it will be there in your little planned, weird, visionary ego quest that you have now went that's going to fail you with Chiron there, and realize, well, that was a good reason to understand how to guide myself better in the future. I am going to hate to see that happen to so many people. So many people right now are just gung-ho on this vision that, number one, was not set all the way back, unless it was set way back there when we were in 2016 and we got out of the deception. That was Neptune and Saturn in square, which, remember, that actually happened at 8 and 9 degrees into 10 degrees where Mercury's at. I did Age of Deception at that time. Ask yourself this question. If you're on High Vibe, you would have already known this last week. But no, you're on YouTube, so you just want the cheap, easy version of it. But it probably could have saved you, because right now you might be in a holy shit moment. What were you doing on March 10th and March 11th of 2013? Ask yourself, what were you doing? What were were you trying to get in a relationship? What were you doing? What were you doing spiritually? I'll use an example. If you were, I was dating and then we ended up falling in love and and then we broke up. Bad move if you're in that same place right now. Bad move. I was about to change my job and it didn't work out. Bad move if you're doing that now. You have already been taught by so many positions of what is to really come. And somebody saying, I was 13. Is that my fiance? But, I'll even call her out. Everybody knows what they were doing, how they were feeling about their parents, about their school, about their life. Everybody has to pay attention. Everybody. There is no excuse. I even think it was. I could just do it for people. It blew my mind that I remembered this date right away. I was just like, oh yeah, no problem. But, there you go. And it was Mercury exactly at this position, but in retrograde, right? March 10th, 2013. And that was also with the North Node and Saturn conjunct, by the way. And, well, that's an important aspect, especially with Saturn and where it's going right now. This is also when the nodes were flipped. We're in North Node Taurus right now. This is the opposite. So here it is. Mercury at 8 degrees. That was Neptune. That was the moon, Chiron, Venus, the sun, and Mars. You will never see that ever again in your life.
I didn't catch that.
I'll get out of here. You'll never see that again in your life. That was a foreshadow. I don't think it's funny that Mercury was at the same degree that's going to be exactly when Saturn makes its ingress into here. I could tell you what I was doing. I was fucking coming up with the idea of being the Leo King. I was sick of being David Palmer astrologer, and I realized that there was a guy on fucking TV on the show 24 that was named President David Palmer, and I was having to compete with him in horoscopes and compete with him, and he's a false character on a fucking television show. And I was like, shit. And I remember at that time, I'm staying on my spiritual route. People thought I was crazy doing astrology at that time. Every day, daily, you're doing a daily horoscope every day. You're crazy. And you do readings every day, and you're fucking saying shit that's upsetting other astrologers. I already had been at UAC, already had been the outcast there, already had done that. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm still going to do this shit. I'm sorry that I didn't go to Kepler fucking college. But I remember I was committed to what? Illuminating the collective consciousness and still doing that. And that was the times of me out on the lake. If anybody remembers. I remember I even went on a date at that time with some chick. And I remember the illusion of being like, oh, she's great. And then I was like, no, actually, she's not. And I was like, I was smart enough at the time because I knew the transits. I'm like, this is an illusion. Especially if it's been brought in like recently. You got to pay real deep attention. But I mean, this was a basic moment to understand what was to foreshadow your life. What also is another way to understand this Mercury transit, because it is a full moon in Virgo. So I know that people are wanting to understand that. Of course, remember, that was North Node conjunct Saturn. Now we're in North Node conjunct Uranus in the opposite sign. So this is a pretty big deal because your destiny was already laid before you on how you made your choices, or if you're going to repeat yourself and play out your subconscious shit all over again in a hard way with Saturn. And especially with Chiron that was there. Jeez. Those were gnarly times. That was also Mars at the last degree of Pisces. But let's take 2020, for example. Right? I'm just doing this quick because I have to go do Deep Spiritual Tarot after this. And Brian's here and I just got to go quick. But yeah, let's do, March 1st, 2020. How about that, right? Well, we know we had seen the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, right? And right before they decided to close the world and all that crazy stuff, at 8 degrees here, on February 24th, what was happening? The moon, Neptune, sun, Mercury. Oh, that was when they were just starting to say countries were closing them down. But you didn't want to probably believe that at that time. No, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen to me. Not going to happen to that. That was also Venus in Aries. We're about to see it at 19 degrees again with Mercury close to the same spot. But if you notice, they've been both in retrograde. This is your moment to make your biggest conscious understanding of your subconscious. And go, I am not going to pick my ego and be deceiving my ego. Jupiter and Venus have conjuncted in Aries conjunct Chiron while they are in the first, while what? Neptune, the sun, Mercury, and now Saturn are in the 12th house of solar understanding. So your ego and your wants and how you want it to look and how it's got to be is literally in the 12th house to that Jupiter-Venus. The two benefics are running rampant. The North Node dispositor, of course, is Venus, but it's in its detriment. And it's been with Chiron and Jupiter. It's saying, I don't know if I'm going to take that bet. I'm going to stay with what's solid, good, creating things, slower. Not this scorpionic South Node shit. I need an instant change. I'm just going to do, I already know what to do. This is also where people are going to have to realize that there's dark and evil entities that they're attaching themselves to that they don't even realize because they think it'll take them to a better place by removing themselves from the most beautiful spiritual shit of their lives. This is your last call. Because this full moon in opposition, in reality, is a reality check. It's in Virgo. And Mercury's here. And this is a huge foreshadowing of many events. When you see the writing on the wall that you're going to go off your spiritual path right now, and that wherever things are not aligned for you spiritually, don't double down on them. Don't be like, it'll be all right. You're going to dump yourself into the dumpster. Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. The ruler is Neptune. The sun already went through the whole sign of Aquarius with Saturn. Now the Saturn Ingress is in after this full moon, and we get to feel more Saturn while the sun's in the same sign. That's very rare, and that doesn't happen with Pluto at 29 degrees either. So this is an extreme moment where from behind you, in the ass of all of our souls, Saturn is now coming up on our ass, and it's like a hook going to pull you back where you're not spiritual, where you're not paying attention spiritually, where are you psychotic, where are you subconsciously affecting others the wrong way, where are you not paying attention to where you're creating more of a problem for the world and the universe because you are trapped in your ego and the free will ideas that are running rampant in this new age bullshit, new age community. My free will get over that. I was just teaching my Pluto class, and I was just saying, back in the days of Japan, there was a woman in Hiroshima, and she was free will. And she was like, I'm living the life I want. I do my meditation, I do my yoga, I do this, I eat this, I do this, and all that. And what happened? In the middle of 1945 in August, boom! Was that her free will? No, it wasn't. That came from Pluto, the outside entity. Because she lived in a country with an emperor who decided to attack America, who decided to have kamikaze pilots, which decided to do that in order to also have a country, America, to invade another, to steal the scientists, to take them, to make a bomb, to blow it up on Japan. Did you have that free will? Don't fuck with Pluto. The only reason why Pluto is here is to remind you that there is fate and that there is no good, bad, or Pluto doesn't give a flying fuck. It's here to transform us and be the official stamp on it's over and it's transformed to bring us from death to life and to be reborn. Don't fuck with Pluto. You have to right now at this moment realize, are you living in your free will, new age bullshit, and you're not paying attention to what's going down in the world? You're not paying attention to your spiritual self and also how your effect is on others. This is a full moon in Virgo while Saturn's on the last degree of Aquarius. Do you know how to truly connect fully with others? Or are you just a little liar and say, oh, I know I'm fully connecting, but you always back away. I always back away. And I don't fully commit to this collective. I back away. I have every excuse because really Pluto in Capricorn is all the way integrity. Who will make it to the top of this mountain? Even when it's tiring, even when it's tough. The idea of I need to recharge. The solar flares are affecting me is another excuse. This is the height of excuses coming in. Every excuse. I have this. I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. All of it is to take away your own power, which is what Pisces reveals to you, where you have to go deep inside and realize I'm the one fucking my own show up. Pluto and Capricorn's been trying to tell you the whole time that it's not been the outside world and the outside governments and the outside entities that are here to stop you. It's your own integrity of finishing the job yourself and knowing how to fucking do it yourself and be fucking the top of your game, that nothing could take you down. Because really, if it's opposing the end of Cancer, oh, well, geez, this has to deal with your emotional laziness and your emotional safety. That you'll choose that, but really be more pushed away from the deep emotional connections, the deep truth, the deep needs that you need, and put a wall up. Because you're too afraid to be vulnerable. The 12th house, Pisces, you're too afraid to do the spiritual thing fully. Anybody here who says, well, the solar flares are affecting me, that's an excuse. The solar flares are here to give you more fucking more sun, more electromagnetic energy, more electrons to make you amazing. Stop using that as a fucking excuse. That's an excuse. We are now entering into the astrology of every excuse I have in the world to not be my true self, I will use. Period. And Pluto is the trigger. And you know what it is? Who is a master at the top? Who has the ability to get where they need to go? And Pluto is only going to pay off people who actually do the work. You can't just be, ow, my finger hurts. You know what? I'm having a little anxiety because there's so many solar flares. You really think that you're going to get to the top? You really think that you're going to be able to actually fulfill fate and destiny? Or are you avoiding it? Are you avoiding it? You know why? Because it's you not wanting to engage. It reminds me of Top Gun. When Maverick, oh God, I can't engage. When we need you. We're all going to die. Oh, I can't. This is where you have to, with this Virgo, it's your only chance to get a really good look at what is true and what is not in the understanding of where you're creating your own delusions that are harming you from holding yourself back and to being as true spiritually as you really can. And to be honest, knowing that you're coming and knowing that it's fate that's going to guide you. It's not your ego's view that's lost. I already showed you Mars's rules of Aries. It's fucking out of bounds. It's about to square Neptune. It's been in a hard retrograde cycle. It's still not done. It's not in a good space at all. Okay? Your mind mixed with your ego, thinking your way through, over-processing things through, is holding you back and you're in a prison. This is the beginning of a soul prison. This is also where fanatical, religious cults, let's just call them, are going to become fanatical. It's the end. Jesus is here. Allah is returning. The third temple. Every religion is going to go ape shit crazy. And that's an easy way to know that you're falling for it. Oh my God, you know what? All my life's been going to shit because I wasn't praying enough to that God. There's one Almighty. We all get there. If we get there, however we get there. Car, train, boat, Bible, fucking in the sands of the Sahara. I don't give a fuck. We all get there. Stop blaming all your issues on the fucking other person who's feeling super empty and fucking won't follow their true destiny and is selling you by knocking on your door and fucking being like in The Whale and really stealing from the church and wanting to do it himself and showing up at your door and telling you that you could be saved. Think about that. You know, I run a network called High Vibe TV. And everybody thinks that High Vibe has to look a certain way and be a certain way. It's sloppy, Pisces. It's about to get really sloppy out there. The world's about to get sloppy as fuck. It already has been with Neptune here in Pisces since 2011. It already has been since the huge conjunction that we had with all that stellium in Pisces that we had in 2013. It's already been messy. It's about to get really messy out there. Okay? But High Vibe is not a certain look of, especially in this new age AI visualization of, oh, look at me, my picture from Burning Man, and I AI'd it, and that's High Vibe, and because I brought Sage, and because I brought this shit. Highest vibe is awareness. The awareness to fucking do the highest spiritual good constantly and have zero excuses and dedication to that higher place. That's the only way out of the 12th house. The only way that you don't end up in a prison. The only way that you don't end up in a mental institution. The only way that you don't end up in an asylum. The only way that you don't end up self-undoing yourself and subconsciously fucking up your life, ruining your good relationships, ruining the most amazing things in your life that can take you to where you need to go for your destiny. But no, your ego's in the way. No, this is in the way. No, it's the solar flares. No, it's because the government. No, it's because the economy. No, it's because this. No, it's because that. No, it's because this. Everything outside of you, Pluto, is what's outside. The outside enemy, the outside energy when it's really inside. And now we're going deep inside. And I'm going to be honest with you, most people are going to fail this shit. It's only God that will save me. That is not true. It's you in tandem with God in that relationship will save you. It's you and your community and you and your friends and you and your circles and you creating. And did you really do Saturn Aquarius with Jupiter? Did you really do it? Or didn't you? No, I'm just moving more to my independent self. Well, that's going to not work out too well when all the systems collapse and when fucking you're in the 12th house and you're in dog doo-doo shit because you're like, oh, I just had the vision. An illusionary ego vision with Chiron. Chiron, remember, is a really difficult place. It is with a semi-square to Saturn. At the same time, this is what the Jupiter-Venus conjunction was. And I told everybody it was going to be a fucking sham. You know why? Because you don't find out with Jupiter till it goes through a whole cycle till the next Jupiter-Venus, which is until next year. And that one will be real in Taurus. That one will be real. With Uranus. So, this one's a sham with Chiron. You know why? Because it's like, I feel like I need to sacrifice this in order to get that. That's an ego thing. The lesson of Chiron is, especially in Aries, you could be whoever you want to be and have whatever you want to be, but you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be humble and realize, I know I could do this. And really, it's about the courage and the confidence to be able to do it. But I think a lot of this is the misidentification of things, especially this pumped up Jupiter-Venus that's actually looking at destroying the most valuable and great things that are in your life to want an edge, to want something extreme. That's not even, it's all an illusion. That's out there in Scorpio, it's an illusion. Oh, yeah, this is more exciting. The good old days of being able to do this and do that. I want that back. I want to be able to just fucking have to where it all show up in my life. This is where the law of attraction is bullshit. If anything, if you're following this whole, I'll attract it in, what you're attracting, the only thing you're attracting in is darkness right now. This is where you have to have your defenses up because you own your values. No, I have such a valuable position in my life, in a spiritual life, that I will not attract anything bad in because I'm only focused on the value of God, my spiritual work, or whatever it is. Not, oh, I need to move to this position so I could get somewhere and receive more from the universe. No, you're just receiving the darkness side of the universe. You didn't define the universe because you're only looking at your desires, your wants, and your ego needs. And that's it. That's only thinking for yourself. You're not thinking about others. You're not thinking about how to create something beautiful for others. You're not even thinking about creating anything. You're just thinking about what I need and what I'll get. And that's the biggest subconscious trap that most of the collective's in right now. And I'm seeing it everywhere. People just like, oh God, I don't get what I want. No, I need to feel my own power. You want to feel power? It's with the divine and that relationship you have with it and doing something for the collective. It is never going to be by yourself. It is never going to be through your own little ego vision and all the human design people telling you, just follow your fucking strategy and follow your fucking, follow this gate too. I'm sorry. They don't even realize they're in a trap made by a guy who channeled the fucking system, who uses astrology, they're not allowed to use it fully. Right? So you're going to follow that? You're going to follow that? They don't even look at declinations. They won't even look at, oh, well, if your Mars is in this gate, they won't even see if it's 25 degrees north and it's out of bounds. Which is because the North Node's in the north. So they don't know Jack Jilly squat about astrology. So my last thing, pay attention. It's extreme out there. It's only extreme, though, if you really realize you're not fully in your reality of doing your highest spiritual good? Where are your setbacks? Where are you holding yourself back? Where are you not wanting to connect with others? Where are you not doing the community service? This is North Node in Uranus. And it takes a long time. And it takes a lot of work. This is Pluto at the end of Capricorn. We got weeks still more of Pluto Capricorn, and that's not even done. It's still got to ingress back and forth. And yes, we're going to get this weird flavor of whatever this new 20-year transit of Pluto Aquarius is going to be. But that's not the big all-star moment. It's happening already right now. Saturn and Pluto have separated. They're about to truly separate with this Saturn ingress and this full moon. And this also brings Virgo, Mercury, in opposition with all this Neptune-ruled energy and Jupiter-ruled energy, Pisces. And where Saturn's now living is in that. The dispositor is no longer its home, no longer in systems, no longer in control. No, it is in the area of being wide and lost. And so if you think that you've set your vision so clearly, if anything, it's the most unclear because your ego's still trying to find the destination. The destination is one that's already embedded in you that you already came here with, and you already know what to do, and you listen to it and you follow it, and you don't move when it comes to being distracted, losing yourself into my own needs, my own desires, my way or the highway. Because you'll be left alone. Within this Saturn transit, remember, Saturn and Neptune are together for the next 3 years, but they don't meet in Pisces. They meet at 0 degrees of Aries. You want to talk about our whole entire universe, our whole entire world being redefined? This next 3 years. All the systems are going to start their sloppiness. That's a better way to put it than scare people and say collapse. They're going to be sloppy. The mailman in 2 years from now will not be delivering your mail in the way that you thought it would. Think about that. Are you so sure in every vision that you have said of how to do things that you have thought that far down have you thought that wide? Now we have to think wide. While at the same time understanding that Pluto is very narrow in Capricorn, being like, do I know how to handle pressure? Do I know how to handle it? And even when I feel fucking tired or whatever, I'm not letting solar flares, I'm not letting anything get in between me, and I know how to get into the top, right? It's like if you're at Runyon Canyon and you go on the hard pass, it's tiring. But you keep going and you'll get there. Like, come on. I don't think people are prepared because you know why? Most people are looking up, not knowing what's actually happening. And when, we get to places like we're at now, Pluto at the last degree of Capricorn and Saturn at the last degree of Aquarius moving into Pisces, you know what happens is people start just grabbing on to whatever handrail they can, whatever belief system, whatever, human design here, this here, fucking this little meme, this little free will thing, this law of attraction. You want them to start selling you the secret all over again? Nobody sells a secret. Your idea of free will, of law of attraction, is attracting all of your desires that are against your soul, that are against your actual truth. The only way it works is if it's in alignment with your soul and your purpose and your mission and your true spiritual destiny. And we are at a time where Saturn has tested that with Pluto for 6 years. Unless it's been on the same path for 6 years of doing it, and you're just coming up with it right now, are you sure, or are you just copying another? Did you just use this last 3 years to do Saturn and Jupiter and Aquarius and just copy another? Are you just a copycat? Isn't it an original idea? Is it original? Because the whole test the whole time, which unfortunately, and only, other Leos and Leo risings would know, that this has been a horrible 3 years when it comes to being original. Now, put a mask on. Now, better get this injected into you. Better do this. Better do this way. You better say this. You better say it this way. You better do this. I know that that's the surface, but the deeper part of it has been true self-expression. Most people don't know how to do that. Most people are afraid of that. Most people, why do you think so many people are committing suicide? Why do you think so many people right now are not living in their truth? Because they're too afraid to be themselves. They want to look a certain way. They want to have Kim's look. They want to have this dude's look. They want to have everything fucking a certain way, and then they'll do it. And that's what this full moon in Virgo is where have you lost your mind that your soul is trying to react and it'll look aesthetically this way because people will accept that. You have disowned your soul. You have disowned all aspects of your true value. And that is not high vibe at all. That is the lowest vibe there is on the planet because it's not your vibe and their vibe isn't even their vibe. That's the deepest it goes. You have to find your own original truth, your own original vibe, your own original soul, and be honest with yourself and erase all the shit where you were copycatting. Wasn't easy for us Leo risings because we were like, fuck, I ain't copycatting that shit. It wasn't even about beliefs. What everybody else was doing, I was going, I ain't doing that shit because that ain't me. That's just being original. That's just being Leo. I'm just going to be me. That doesn't look fun. I ain't going to do that. But you have to. Everybody else is. Oh, man. And the crazy programming now of all this Pisces, we're about to see how crazy it goes and how deep it goes down that rabbit hole of self-programming that we are allowing into ourselves by not being aware of it spiritually because we are pushing it to the side because it makes us feel better, because it's giving us some instant return while it's really just holding us back. That right now, if the world was going to change, everybody would be fucking their original self and screaming like I do. But most people are not. Most people are holding back. Most people are doing things the same way. Most people won't fucking say shit. Most people won't fucking do anything. And you know what? Last time Saturn came into Pisces was 1994. And everybody thought that the long-haired bands of ZZ Top and fucking Van Halen were going to be the top of the mark of what music was. Then you get Kurt Cobain, you get Nirvana, you get Bush, you get grunge. You get Seattle music, you get all this crazy shit, and it just sweeps the nation, right? And all those people that you thought were cool in 91 and 92 were not, and gone. So be original. Don't try and do anything from people that you've seen over the last 3 years and trying to copy them and think you're going to make it. You're not. You know how you know you're going to make it? Because you're advancing right now in your life. If you're not advancing, there's a huge problem. You're just falling into a trap. If your money's going lower, your soul's going lower, you're not getting the returns and investment that you want in your life, you're not fucking really putting in the work, you're already on this transit, good luck for 3 years. You're in fucking crazy town. Because you didn't wake up and didn't wake yourself up enough to go, shit, I lost my essence. I lost my essence. I went for my ego without realizing it because ego is always associated with like a big, nice car or something. No, your ego is your way to only do it. You get the point at this point, but you know, oh, let's see what the cards say. It's a grind, but the grind is the spiritual work. If you're trying to avoid the grind at all costs, that's how you know you're not doing the work. That's Pluto at the last degree of Capricorn. That's Saturn at the last degree of Aquarius. Because if you understand the way that those planets work and you understand the separation that's happening in those two planets in aspect, and you understand the semi-sextile they're in, and you understand more importantly the divinity that's based upon them, and you understand the mythology upon them, and you understand even all systems about them, that you would understand that this is a time where you put it all in and you should be all in. There is no excuse. There is zero excuse. That you are terrified. The opposite of Aquarius is Leo. You're terrified. You don't have courage to be yourself. You don't have courage to be what you want to be. And in Pisces, that's a trap. I follow what everybody else is doing. I want to look a certain way so other people like it. Guess what? Nobody likes a fucking Leo. You know why? Because we're real as fuck. And we put it out hard. And we put it out true. And that's why nobody likes us half the time, but that's why everybody does like us. But most people have hated us. Yeah, fucking Leo King. Jeez. He should be super high vibe. He should be sitting there with a crystal in his hand. Well, I can't wait for this Saturn in Pisces to watch finally the spiritual community get spiritually cleaned the fuck out. And as I've warned people, and I have all the receipts on my YouTube and all my networks, that I have predicted that they are coming after the spiritual community, and all the religions are right now. It's happening on MSNBC to Fox News. I don't care if you're left or right. They're coming after the spiritual people. They're coming after witchcraft and saying that this is witchcraft. I have been screaming at the top of my lungs, and you all fucking don't want to listen. No, that's not going to happen. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. And you all are just going to sit there and accept that and not say anything? Even when all those fucking comments start coming out by all the fucking right-wing and the left-wing media, my comments are in there. My shit is challenging them. Where are yours? Nowhere did I see it. Nowhere. Because you all just want to sit in your bubbles and fucking think it's all going to be fine. And just rely on your basic understanding of that it takes everything in the world you got to live in this world as a soul. That's the highest vibe thing. To just sit there and think that the universe is just going to do it all for you is ridiculous and dumb. You are here to fulfill a destiny. You are not here to just sit in the fucking thing and be the lazy person in the fucking train and not go anywhere. And I'm not yelling. That's called passion. So you can just go fuck yourself if you think I'm yelling, because I don't give a fuck. You don't even know what yelling is. You know what I mean? Like, there's a fucking trigger. Oh, don't yell. Yeah, that's not yelling. Trust me, you don't want to hear me yell. Not many people have. That's called passion. That's called, what, fire's too harsh for you? You should probably wear your fucking fire suit then. You should probably call up the fire department and wear a fucking yellow fucking fire suit and protect yourself because you can't handle fire. What, you want me to be a little water sign, squirt my fucking little water on you? Ow! You want some air? You want somebody to fucking just blow a little fan on you right now? No. You want earth? Oh, you want somebody to grab some soil from the fucking, oh my God, I went all the way up to the California North Forest. I went all the way up there and I fucking grabbed some from the sequoias and here you go. Shut the fuck up. We're fire signs. And the number one thing, too, is to pay attention to with this Jupiter-Venus. It happened in Aries, while Mars is crazy. And this Mars in Gemini has brought out World War II to World War III. Then it never ended. Last time Mars retrograded all the way through the sign of Gemini. Oh, wait, 1943 into 1944? Oh, yeah, it did. Oh, at the same time, it's been square Neptune twice already, and this is going to be the third one approaching after the Saturn ingressing into Pisces. Now when Mars squares Neptune, and Mars is about to square the sun, and also in this fucking full moon, it isn't square with Mars. It's in trine with Uranus. Does anybody know how to be unique in their own value or not? Stop focusing on outside energy. Am I trying to be like them? Are they cool? Are they not? Start to learn to be original and understand that Mars, when it did the squares to Neptune in this last cycle, and we have one more left, was the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. Who did it? I don't know. The missile that went into fucking Poland. Oh, it was fucking Russia. No, actually, hold on a second. It was fucking Ukraine saying it. And Ukraine was saying it was Russia. You really think that we are not going into the most craziest war of all time? That never stopped. The weirdest part is it's being hidden from you. And I will answer one question that people keep asking. Why are all the factories blowing up? Something's up. The economy is so bad that the only way for these motherfuckers to regain their money back is their insurance companies, so they blow up their factory. That's how bad the economy is. Surprised people haven't figured that one out yet. That's Capricorn shit. The dark side of people trying to survive with their companies. Not wanting to do the work and figure out a better way to be a business. Let me blow it up, including the train in Ohio. And everybody's going to blame it on China. It's always what you don't think that's deeper. Think of Pluto and Capricorn, a CEO trying to survive in this economy right now. Instead of doing the work, it's all of them blowing it up and the insurance companies paying. What has been happening with everybody dying and the insurance companies paying for all these life insurance deaths that are crazy and the young? Start waking up. Man. The Chinese balloon was probably one of ours. That all the countries in the world use them to spy on us. On top of, they already use our phones for the inside and all that shit. The balloons are high enough. And then they throw an alien UFO thing at the same time in Roswell in 47. It was about a weather balloon that looked exactly like that fucking balloon. Come on. I'm surprised that people aren't putting all the pieces together and that they're just throwing out chum, like in Jaws. And you guys are all biting at it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to the war. Oh, you know, it's so crazy. You know, back in the 60s when you were against the war, it was good. In 2000s, when you were against the war, it was good. Now, if you're against the war, it's bad. Who predicted that in 2020? And actually before that, but that it would start in 2020. Oh, I predicted that shit. And I said it would happen. If you don't go for this war, you don't go for this, you're not a patriot. That's what I said. That's what they're going to push on people. And what are they doing right now? They're doing the same fucking thing. Where's all the spiritual community out against the war? I don't see them. I thought this was a spiritual community. No, it's not. Most of them are just focused on how aesthetically good their Instagram looks and their picture, and whether or not they can take a picture and do a retreat out in Bali. That's literally all it cares about. Oh, it's Bali, so it's spiritual. Oh, yeah, that's the place that's banning sex if you ain't married. You're going to bring people there? What a spiritual community we live in. Bring people to a place where they can't make love unless they're married under Islam, not Jesus. Think about that shit. That's how blind the spiritual community is. And everybody calls me not high vibe. It's right under your noses. And you don't even look at it. Wake up. Wake up. Hey, we're always here on High Vibe TV, waking people up every day and being honest, but you all want to sit on YouTube and get fucking sucked into all these people's really crazy fucking shit. Have fun. I still show up because I care. But you're missing out on all the good shit, and I can only show up on here when it's the last moment. Because I know the value of this. Card for this full moon, and Ace of Cups reverse. There's a lot of emotional, empty people out there trying to fill their emotions and think that they can refresh them in this new way. You're not going to be able to refresh shit. You need to get deeper to the bottom of why you feel like you need to refresh anything. You already have the fresh shit right now. King of Cups reversed. Damn. A lot of people are not feeling comfortable or not emotionally the way they want to. Get out of that and get back on a purpose. Get back in your life on purpose. See the beauty that's right in front of you. It's Uranus and Taurus. It's North Node and Taurus. Know the good shit and fucking build upon it. It's like this studio of mine this was just a room that was empty when I got it in 2017. And it used to be other things. And then I just build upon it. Now it's a library. Now it's a movie theater. Now it's one of my offices. Now it's my library with all my old books. And it's, you got to build. Put whatever you've got that's beautiful in your life and fucking go at it. Stop waiting for some new thing to come in. Stop waiting for some great fucking savior to come into your life. It's your connection with the divine. Not somebody's just here to save me. Well, you all know how I feel on this fucking full moon. Thank God's getting out of Aquarius. You know why? Because all the Leos are going to be fucking full of sense again. To people. Because people are going to be looking for answers. And there's going to be nobody who has an original idea. And people who are still thinking that because I did it in Bali, it was spiritual. Because I did it over here. Because lightning in a bottle's in Santa Barbara, it's super spiritual, bro. Well, they don't give a fuck about people and didn't fucking pay back people who bought tickets in 2020. Let's not forget about that. No spiritual boycotts on anything of the most atrocious nature in our spiritual community. But nobody's going to say shit. I don't have problem saying it. But most people are already in the 12th. Because you know why? As the sun's been in Pisces for 16 days, Saturn's been in the 12th to the sun in Pisces. So everybody's already living in their own subconscious bullshit without even realizing it. I love you all. Be on high vibe. Truly love you all. Peace.